My dad is from East Baltimore and my mother is from West Pratt Street. They got married and they were living in that area, and then they moved to an area called Woodlawn. Now we call it Hoodlawn. Gentrification has like made a lot of the housing like Section 8, but back then it was middle class black families like working at the post office and UPS like my dad, and working for the state of Maryland like my mom. Me and my brother used to get made fun of. When we would go to my aunt's house over on Patterson Park, we would be called the corny kids because we went to private school, we wore uniforms. It was really interesting because at home, our friends would say stuff like, the city is dirty, and I'd be like, but my cousins live there. And then like you go to the city and people would be like, well, y'all talk funny, y'all think y'all bougie. I was overweight, a closeted little gay kid. When I was a little kid, like I knew, but I never like could act on that. Everybody in my family is like, you know, real machismo, tough dude. I wasn't, obviously. I always wanted to tap, I wanted to draw. I didn't really come out until I was 23 when I moved back to Baltimore. But like I was, you know, inching out of the closet. If you stop struggling, you stop life. I firmly believe that. I'm, you know, assaulted in some sort of way almost every 5 minutes. But I have to keep living. I'm gonna stop living? No, I can't do that. I was into art as a kid. Like Crayola was my homie. Every single time I would go to the store, I wanted to like buy like Word Up magazine so I could like artfully arrange them on my wall. That was like my outlet because I didn't have much else. I just found my own way to like have my own creative path, if you will. I went to MICA when I was 25. Before then, like my visual education was all about like collecting magazines. It was the one thing I knew I could go to. I could always buy a magazine. I could always buy a new CD. When you go to CCBC, you take all of these classes that focus on drawing the nude figure, painting, and all that stuff was great, but it took a long time. What I was doing for my portfolio drawings, a lot of it was like me putting things into Photoshop. I knew that being a fine artist was just not going to work for me. I like being able to do something on a Monday and then having it in my hand by like Tuesday. I worked in an advertising agency for a year. In that year, basically all I did was collect images of white people. That's all I ever saw. I never saw myself in advertising because I was working for major clients. When you're in it, and you just want to survive it. You just want to make sure you Photoshop the picture the way that the client wants it to be Photoshopped. So you don't really think about it then, but when you go home after a 12, 13-hour day and you're thinking about all the stuff that you've done that day, that's when you start to like feel like this sadness, this depression that you can't really speak about. It wasn't until I moved away from that I realized, oh, this is why. So character is power is a quote from Booker T. Washington. So I created this whole project where I made these t-shirts and branded the whole apparel line, and character is power was one of the quotes that I used on the t-shirts. Just because I believe, you know, like you can have money, but that doesn't make you nice. You know, I'm not nationally or internationally known, but local people that want the product love it. That makes me feel really good that I get to have a little bit of say in what I do with what I create.